So just to recap, your only income from this is the £2 drop.
Yes, that's it. Just a booking fee, which TFL lovingly on their little board.
Yeah, they've added you.
No, they haven't said Unify, but.
We are back, Dave, with Micky Harris of Unify, and
wonderful to see him.
Things have got better, haven't it, since?
Yeah,
I think so. I think in general, I think things are still growing.
Yeah.
I mean, for the Unify app, it seems to be going from leaps to bounds, and it's always going forward. I'm over the 2,000 driver now, pushing towards 3,000 is my next main target.
Wow.
I've still got about another 250 drivers that have signed up, but as yet still haven't put their badge and bill in.
Yeah.
So I can't verify those yet, but they'll come online soon enough, I'm sure.
Well, the idea that you're doing, when I would perceive it, if I had anything to do with the idea, and I think where some people might have gone wrong, people perceive it from the perspective of how many customers you can get, first of all. But I would have thought to myself, get every driver signed on. You don't even have to have a single customer. If we're already in place, ready to take that share, then that's great. And then let's work on the customers.
Exactly what my philosophy has been right from the very beginning. The app must suit the drivers, and therefore, I've said it to you last time, it has to be completely free to drivers. Otherwise, why would they sign up otherwise? They sign up completely free, and we need to load as many drivers onto the app as possible, because there is huge publicity coming now, and we have to be ready for the customers. We can't go the other way. We can't load it up with customers if there's no drivers, because the customers just won't stay there, and they're the ones spending the money, so they're the ones we have to service. So,
did you park your Bugatti in the space that we have available?
Yeah, I got the helicopter. I'm actually up on the British Rail shut that section of the line.
There has been some. I have did see a couple of comments that were negative, and from our last podcast, and I just could not believe how it could have been spun in any negative sense. But in the negative sense was that somehow, Mick, you are going to be prosperous. I mean, the way we spoke about it last time, I didn't see any of that.
Well, it's singularly owned, isn't it? Whereas the other people like say it's owned by lots of people and still take everything anyway, because it's owned by me. I can do as I like with it. But and to a certain extent, legally, that's true, isn't it? I mean, it is mine. A bit like this, like the Wizan stuff is yours.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
And but you have certain morals, and I have certain people judging me as well from on high that. That keep you on track, and you can't set out to do something so moralistically, in spirit, and then not do that. That would be totally corrupt. I'd just rest of my life, wouldn't I?
I suppose, morally, the only person policing yourself is your own morals, which I suppose is the...
That's the way for everybody, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, what is there legally that anybody could do anywhere that would restrict them from doing anything with anything that they owned?
Yeah.
It's people have asked me that in the past. Well, what guarantees have we got that you're not going to sell it? Well, I mean, what can you do? There are no guarantees anywhere, but only in my heart that I know it's not for sale.
Yeah.
You know, this is there as a legacy for my wife, my late wife. And I said, when I'm finished with it, or it's finished with me, it'll go to my son. It'll be his mum and dad's legacy.
You know what I think, David, as well? You're hitting a point saying, they're saying there's no guarantees. They're looking so far into the future. Hold on a minute. Let's make it into a...
Well, what are you actually selling? You know, when they're talking about selling, in the very beginning, there was no customers, is there? So, I mean, how is that going, customer-wise?
Well, I don't know. Or customer-wise, I mean, they come in on board. I'm sitting there with just under 5,000 customers now. I wish they were 5,000 regular weekly customers, because that would make a huge difference. But they're not. The app's not profitable in any way yet. Well, I think I'm taking about 8 to 10% of costs at the moment coming in.
Right.
So I'm still funding it 90% myself. I'm still out working 12, 14-hour days.
Yeah, I can see that in your eyes.
Yeah, I had a lift as well. No, because I know that what I'm doing is the right thing, and it's gaining massive traction, and I've got a massive amount of publicity coming, which it blew me away when I found out what's coming. Yeah, I was quite surprised.
So we have to keep the spirits up with the drivers, because we got a cab, didn't we, a couple of days ago?
Yes.
With a driver, a little bit despondent in the voice, a little bit not against it, but just a little bit down, and you have to keep that spirit going, don't you? You have to keep putting it on, and even myself, I'll put it on, and I must admit I've missed a couple of jobs. One, I was in bed, woke up and I'd missed it, and I have missed jobs where I've been POB, but I've left it on deliberately to show myself as out there.
Well, that's what I really like, really, is when the drivers go out there and they log on, and then obviously they stay online. offline, but they're going POB, but they're not then going offline, and then when they're empty, going back online again. So they're just leaving it online all the time, which is nice because I can see it over the map. I can see all the drivers, but at the same time, when the customer sits it like that, and of course it's pinging out to that driver, but the driver just ignores it because he's POB. So we really need to
some tweaks.
Yeah, well, I think it's down to the individual drivers because only you know when you're POB. This app is not connected to your meter,
right?
So, and I God forbid it ever was, but you need to be able to just when you are POB, go offline. Yeah, and so that way you'll disappear off the map.
Some things to remember.
And then obviously when you're empty again, as soon as you're empty, you turn your light off, you go back online again. But you're probably running 3 or 4 apps. Drivers are. I mean, why wouldn't they? Because
they're not POB within the app. If they're in POB within the app, you're fine.
Them off. Yeah, that's
Of course. But she had a criticism, Mary, didn't she, of the app? There was a flaw that she didn't quite like. Was that? Well, it shuts itself down, goes blank screen.
Yeah, I've not had that. I remember you saying
that's
that.
That's fun.
Yeah. I've not had that.
Fun.
So so if you're watching, Mary, it was your phone, the settings in the phone.
Yeah, we've had all of that. We have to go through. I mean, I did post at one stage how you sort that out, whether you had an iPhone or whether you've got a Samsung or whatever. We did all the different posts for that. But all those things are actually in the phone. We had the same for notifications as well. It's not pinging on my phone. That's your phone.
Yeah, notifications need to be turned on.
The app will send it out. It's your phone that allows notifications.
So is that a lock screen? What's doing that to that?
Yeah,
because I don't have a lock screen any timer. I have it open all the time.
Yeah.
So when I have it on the dash, I don't know it. Cradle with magnets actually, but I have my phone so it's open, so I don't have to keep touching it.
Yeah,
and it closes. And you've got to try and get your face into it and all that as you're driving and all that, you know what I mean? So I just have it, open it before I pull away and it stays open.
It's probably the best way. Although we'll obviously over time we'll drain the battery, of course.
It's plugged in all the time. It's a work tool, so I don't care the lifespan of the phone. If it goes in 2 years, it goes in 2 years. It's a work tool.
Most people are changing their phones every 2 years.
So what? If it goes, it goes. But it's plugged in permanently and it's open permanently.
That's it.
Well, so what is the next thing that you've got coming up then that's quite special? You said something about advertising there going on?
We've got advertising. We've got a large advertising, or global advertising firm, McCann and Erickson, the CEO from there. Name of, shall I mention the lady? I'll mention her first. Name of Polly. She contacted me via email, via the app. Yep. And invited me in to come and meet her on the board just for a friendly chat. Put my alarm bells straight on, a friendly chat. And it was quite almost like a full interview. Herself, heads of departments and the team there, and they're all sitting there working. And I was really impressed with their knowledge of advertising is way beyond our scope. Yeah. But they're offered to do some pro bono work for us and to help just put us out there on the billboards and out wherever it is that they will put this stuff. I think, I'm not 100% certain, I think what it is, they sell the billboard space in and they fill it up. And then when the billboards, I don't know, someone may rent it for 6 weeks. Yeah. And then someone else might want it from, say, February to...
So there's an empty point?
Yeah, so all the empty points, I think they flood their boards.
Ah.
When they're empty.
Right.
I think that's how, I'm not 100% certain on that, but I think that's how they do it because they've already got all that space already rented and they're just ready to go, but the click of a button and it just goes.
Did you do your due diligence to check to see if they are major investors in Uber?
No.
I just Googled it and they've got something like 17 million invested in Uber being successful. Yeah, well. So they might be...
He's lying.
I'll cut that bit out. I was only joking. But it did occur to me, I mean, if you are Uber... It wouldn't be like due diligence that you get your advertising firm to take on anybody who's in the competition, find out from that exactly the depth that they can go to, and then they might buy you out, and you will be pulling up in that Bugatti.
What can you do with that sort of thing? I mean, if they've got their own advertising company and they're out there buying all the billboards, no one anywhere can advertise anything, can they? They've already got the sides of a lot of buses and coaches.
You wouldn't think that they buy it up for what, like years in advance or something?
I don't know.
Must do, mustn't it?
Buy everything.
I don't know. I know that industry a little bit. It's really sneaky, isn't it? They own the billboards.
Yeah. They can command better money for that space.
I know there's a lot of money involved in it. Okay. But do we take any notice of billboards anymore?
Yeah. You do, yeah.
Yeah, you think
when you're stuck in traffic, you're sitting there, you're looking for something to smile about, aren't you? Yeah.
You just get that.
If you keep seeing something, you don't even realise you've seen it, do you?
Yeah.
It's like the song you can't get out of your head, and it's been playing in it, and it keeps coming back, and you can't even sing, and you keep going over the same words.
Yeah. But obviously, online advertising is going to be the best because it's very targeted. You know that you type in one day that you're looking for a pair of loafers, and for the next 6 months, loafer shoes are just popping up all over your thing. You're saying, "Do you want to buy these? You want to buy these?" Yeah. So,
and again, it's targeted advertising.
Yeah,
and it's and who do you target? I mean, for cab drivers or for users of taxis, you'd have to the whole world is your market, isn't it?
Yes,
so it'd be quite a difficult one to actually attach to that. It'd be very expensive.
Anyone googling taxi, anything like that.
You put the word taxi in, and every single agency out there, if you put the word taxi in, they all pay the search engines to put themselves at the top.
Yeah.
So as soon as you put in taxi, you get in Uber,
True, yeah.
Not in taxis.
Yeah, and everything else. But, because they're looking for a taxi ride, aren't they? It's only, I think, in London that they're restricted from using the word taxi, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
Around the rest of the world, they class themselves as a taxi.
Yeah, it is a funny one. It is London.
Most of the other world don't have a purpose-built vehicle, do they?
No.
Most of the other cities, they just use any old car, don't they?
I'm not going to be sure about this, but I think we are the only place in the world with a purpose built by law. It has to meet requirements, and everybody else's vehicle, if they want to use a taxi, London taxi style taxi, they can if they wanted to, but they could use a Rolls Royce and whatever. Singapore uses Rolls Royces, isn't it?
I don't know.
One of the funny things about
Singapore,
there's one of those little areas that's I don't know, it might be the Sultan of Brunei or whatever. Yeah. They have Rolls Royces as taxis. They ain't much money anymore. I mean, I'm talking maybe 1976 Rolls Royces. They're all like, but they used to be.
They don't start. So how's the app's holding up other than that?
The app is holding up. We've got a new upgrade coming for the app.
Good.
Which I've got another a meeting on Monday with that already. I've just had some meetings this week with them, just to make sure that any of the small minor glitches, enlarging font sizes, we've got a scrolling address bar on it that needs to stop scrolling, needs to be slightly bigger and fixed. I think they are minor tweaks to the app itself, but the app itself is functioning quite well. It collects the money from the customer, pays it to the driver, drops the £2 in the Unify pot. That's the most important part, is that the drivers get their money.
And how often are they paid?
It's just dropped from 5 days to 3 days. That's out of my control to how quickly we can pay the drivers until Stripe, the banking system we use. They did that. First of all, it was a 5-day rollover. Now it's a 3-day rollover. It will drop to 1 day. And they say eventually it can become immediate.
Yeah.
And I'm not 100% certain of that. But again, there are different ways of looking at that as well.
And the bigger client you become, the more power you'll have in asking for those sort of things, isn't it?
Well, I think it's actually linked to the drivers as well.
Yeah.
Because they are really the customer. I mean, it doesn't necessarily always go through my account either. I'm getting them to try to pay the drivers direct from the customer. So when the customer swipes, it pays the driver. If it comes through me to be paid to the driver, as of next year, all apps have to report to the taxman any money that they give to drivers, even if they give them all of it. So then I need to have national insurance numbers from drivers, but I'm actually putting things in place so that I don't have to do that.
That's the complicated part.
So I'm not going to take any money from the customers to give to the drivers. The customer will pay the driver direct wallop, and then it will just take £2 from the customer and give it to me. So that I am no longer part of that transaction. I'm just solely an agent.
Yeah,
that's a better way.
Well, I saw some complications there because I know they're free now. I heard a criticism free now. They're a week, aren't they? They pay you after a week.
Yeah, I think they pay you every Tuesday or something.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
it never used to be. I think they never used to. I think it was every...
Twice a week, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Now I think it's every Tuesday now, isn't it?
Well, it occurred to me then, if I was that big a company, I could have a kiddie pool that I could pay you instantly. The money will come into me, but I'm going to pay you right now on the moment the transaction's done. And the money comes into me anyway tomorrow or 3 days' time, but you're getting paid because we got enough of a kiddie pool to pay it. But what you pointed out is the fact that there's a different aspect to that, because you're going to need their national insurance numbers because you're actually paying them.
Yes.
You create a new complication.
Yes.
Which is, then I'm out of my realm then. It's out of my
depth. Getting into the VAT side of things as well, is that if you actually take the money, even if you collect it and then pay it to the driver, even if you give them 100% of it, if that driver isn't allowed to accept the work, then you have to pay the VAT on that. So any private hire work has to have the VAT added to it and paid to the taxman. And they also now have to give the taxman all the information about how much they've sent those individual drivers, and that's done via their national insurance numbers.
Yeah.
So my aim is to make sure that I don't give the drivers any money. I don't intend to. I'm not taking any money from them. I'm not going to give them any. The only money they're going to get is, as it should be, from the customer. All of it.
So just to recap, your only income from this is the £2 drop.
Yes, that's it. Just a booking fee, which TfL lovingly on their little board.
Yeah, they've added you.
No, they haven't said Unify, but but I'm hoping they do. I'm hoping that TfL, who are a lesser power than the main government, actually step up.
Yeah.
I'll come back to that in a little while.
So we can't take a booking fee now.
Yeah, you can take a booking fee. You always have been able to do it. But I think drivers in the past have done this, but I don't think drivers are allowed to. Phone, app and online bookings can charge up to £2.
Okay, so they've all right. Now that's what I mean. They've updated their
and they're also looking at I think there's a consultation out at the moment. So every driver really ought to get that consultation filled in. But I think that's going to happen before this podcast goes out because I think it finishes next Friday.
Well, we discovered something, Dave. You better enlighten us about this. What's the bribery going on, David?
Well, the bribery one, there's an email, it went out, I got one of them, and it says that you basically they're saying to the customers, a certain app, that you can bribe your driver.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
You've seen that as well?
I saw the advert. I didn't see any company associated
with it. Is that the right choice of words though to put out there?
Yeah, bribe your driver at a certain app.
Well, it's probably correct, but it seems a bit...
it's honest, yeah.
Weird, because it got into the realms of bribe your doorman. If you can bribe your doorman, why can't you bribe your driver to jump the queue on the app? Because that's what they're doing, isn't it?
Yeah, would you drive past the street, Al, for an app work?
If the bribe was big enough.
If there's a woman on her own standing there at 10 at night, are you going to drive past her just to get yourself another
Dave,
fiver?
that's a different realm. Of course they will. There's loads of drivers that drive straight past. There'd be a 7-year-old kid standing on the corner crying at 3 o'clock in the morning. They'd drive past it if there's another fare up the road.
Well, I think there's a different thing there with the bribery one. I think it is. Well, I can see what they're trying to do, but that went out. I think that advert went out to drivers, did it? It didn't go out to customers. It was when on a driver's side.
What did you send it me from? Was it from an app?
I got it on an email.
Okay. So they might be emailing their drivers then. Yeah. And which company was it? It was Taxi App.
Yeah.
I think it's just a matter of the terminology. I mean, if you could have put encourage your drivers to come or, pre-tip your drivers to come, I think it's just that word bribe your driver. I think
it's language, isn't it? Like anything, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like it.
It's a PR thing, isn't it?
And I think from a PR perspective, obviously we kind of don't like it, do like it.
Yeah.
So it's going to sell to certain people, yes.
If you get controversy, people talk about it and that's the advertising. Yeah, exactly.
I like the honesty. It's an out-and-out honest idea that if you call it anything else, me and you are driving along, and you're going to get that job because you've just bribed the company.
Is there going to be later though?
If you look at it, it says pre-tip, isn't it?
But is there a later say you've gazumped me, but I come back, see that you've gazumped me, and I gazump you with a bigger bribe.
Yes. So now we're in the realms of bidding wars. Yeah, that would be interesting. If that's the future.
And the driver's now pulled up the side of the road waiting for the bid to finish.
You get a back and forth between the two. Your driver has just been pre-booked by offered £7.
By the end of the fare, the passenger gets in and said, apparently I've got to pay you because that's how much we bid ourselves.
It's a £10 fare. It costs £68.
I'll just stick to the £2 and have done with it.
Well, yours, see, you're saying about honest. That's an honest way. Micky's way, isn't it? £2.
Yeah, but we are fans. So we're groupies, both of us, and we both understand that, and for sure how difficult it's going to be to break and crack the market.
Oh yeah.
But what you need is, and this is I think where I was always a little bit dangerous with business. I do business like it's my hobby, and I enjoy what I'm doing, and I'm challenging myself. So we're not investors in that sense. We're doing these things with the passion from the beginning.
Spending your money on your passion, on your
and
hobby,
we like we want to succeed. We don't want to be failing. But it does, in the business sense, make us dangerous because we are we're the passion to get up each day and keep doing what we're doing for the challenge of what's challenging us, rather than the fact of we've got investors and backers that are giving us money and it's a business.
Well, that's pressure, isn't it? But the other stuff is fun. It's enjoyment. You wake up in the morning, make it work, Mickey. Let's go. And we're off. And away we go. And you can't wait, and you take each challenge and you relish it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm off to Leeds to meet the developers, come back again on the phone, talk to the TV people. I'm
GB News.
Oh,
GB News,
GB News. I survived the Nigel Farage show.
Yeah.
I actually felt as though I survived that interview rather than actually went and took part in it.
I'm going to confess, I didn't see it. Have you seen it?
I see it, yeah. I see it advertised and jumped. I thought I may have missed it because I only got into the show about 10 past 7 or 8, whatever it was.
On it. Yeah.
And I got on and I did see it, yeah.
I've seen it back. I'm glad I just talk a load of rubbish.
No, you was all right. You was all right. You didn't get it. No, I thought you did as well.
It was almost like, because I think a poppy seller had been rounded on in one of the stations. I don't know what it was. There was a bit of to and fro from it. And I think they were trying to portray it as like there's like a big like Palestinian Israel demonstrations, and I think they were trying to turn it into a thing against the poppies and it wasn't. I think there was just a confrontation. Of course, they were then pushing it, and then everybody else came out to help sell poppies. But I couldn't condemn it. I hadn't seen it. I had no information from it, and they'd sprung it on me there and then. So I just went for if there's a lack of poppy sellers, it's mostly because the wars were a long time ago.
Yeah.
Whereas when I was a child, every family in the street, both sides of it, and all the next street, all the men had served, all the granddads had served. Some of them hadn't come back. So the war and all the bombings that had taken place with the Blitz and everything like this, it meant everything to everybody.
Yeah.
But of course, as we've gone on and as people sadly, they've passed on now and got new generations coming.
22 years from now, it's 100 years since the war. So you'll be 100-year-old war.
I never served. I mean, my children haven't served. My grandkids haven't served. No. So it becomes less relevant. We have had other wars, obviously. We got like Falklands Wars in Iraq and in Afghanistan, and there's still conflicts, but it affects a lot less people.
Yes.
And again, it's really, I think, as I said to Nigel at the time, it's really education. If you don't educate people about it, it's difficult for them to understand it. I mean, it's the media that does a lot of the education of society, whether they like it or not. If you're chucking out negative images about this and trying to divide people, you will stoke that division. Yeah. And I think even to a certain extent, not blaming Nigel Farage for this, but with the media divisions, we almost ended up with a confrontation over the weekend, over the Remembrance weekend, with EDL, English Defence League or whatever, or people, they're negative, but they will come and defend if they feel as though they're threatened. But there was none.
There's some very big political views on that, and it does seem obvious to me that you can't be arrested really for displaying the St George's flag, the Union Jack, and they're being allowed to fly an ISIS flag, but not allowed to fly the St George's flag.
I think it's where you fly it and when you're flying it and why you're flying it. I mean, if you've got a demonstration of, it doesn't matter what country it is, if you go and fly a flag in their face there and then, you're going to get it shouted.
Yes, but
so the police will remove what's causing the confrontation.
Any country in the world, Mick, that is flying their national flag in their country, I can only see it being this particular country where I know it's associated with the right wing, but it shouldn't and couldn't be.
No, it isn't. No, I don't think it's that. I think it's where you are at that time. There's 10,000 emotive people that are there like that, and a spark can set them off. For Christ's sake, do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that you're waving a flag in your own country all well and good, but if you're doing it deliberately in someone's face who they're trying to antagonise them, that's the act that they're doing. It's not for the waving of the flag; it's the intent that's there. Yeah. So I'm probably getting into a controversial situation here.
So same thing with waving a flag near the cenotaph on Armistice Day. Would that not have been flamed in the first place?
Could you come down there with a Nazi flag on the 12th? I very much doubt if you get that far, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But
I don't think this is too political controversy. This is kind of factual.
What happened.
Yeah, this is very factual.
It's dodgy territory, isn't it? I mean, I think everybody should be allowed to fly their flag. Why not? You know what I mean? If you're proud of your nation, do it. Okay.
Well, this is the thing. I'm very, very un-nationalistic, and I also do see not the Union Jack so much, but the St George's flag. I instantly do see too many the BNP and the National Front ideas of our history a bit linked to it, and I can see it, but I still want to be able to fly it. I still want to say, look, this you can't let them own it. You can't not be able to fly it. This is the flag of your country, and I'm a very un-nationalistic kind of guy anyway.
Yeah, me too. I see that flag, the St George's flag, and now the media will try to push that as a far right symbol. But not to me. When England are playing football, the rugby's on, or the cricket's on, those flags are up, mate. Yeah. They're outside the house.
We should claim it back. Claim it back from the far right and make it a flag.
Not so much claim it back. I never go to them in the first place.
Well, we never did. Yeah, it's true.
But that could be said for anything. I mean, you're saying it just about St George's, but Isn't the Palestinian flag then hijacked by Hamas? Isn't that linked to that or not?
Which one?
Palestinian flag. Isn't it? So you could say that about any flag. In other words, is what I'm saying. Every flag could be, couldn't it? Couldn't you pick out something if you wanted to?
I think there's an actual flag. There's an actual flag for Hamas.
Yeah,
that's a different one. It's got.
And who do they represent? Hamas.
No, I don't.
They represent the Palestinian people, surely.
Yeah, they voted
in amongst them, aren't they?
I mean, it's just like you could nitpick like that, couldn't you?
Wow. Yeah.
what people do, don't they? And that's what causes the emotions, or whatever. It's trying to steer a path.
At the end of the day, the flag does nothing, does it?
No, it's just.
It's the people that are doing it.
That's right. It's the associations that you put.
So the flag does nothing. It just flutters in the wind.
It is weird, yes. I mean, to be honest, I have a friend, a skateboard friend, and he was beaten up once.
A flag?
For a flag. He basically was being very patriotic. He was on a tour of Cuba, and he put the Cuban flag on his grip tape on the board. And they beat him up because he was standing on it. So he said that you can't stand on that flag. So he was being very sort of, I'm very culturally thingy because I like your Cuban flag, but he put it on the top. And they beat him up. And we all laughed.
There you go.
There's a tangent we've all gone down.
And that was on a skateboard?
Yeah, it was on a skateboard.
So if you put the St George's Cross on the skateboard, no one would say anything, would they?
No, they wouldn't. I actually have done it. I've got my
beat you up just for having it on there.
My daughter's skateboard in Turkey is, I wanted her to be identify as English and Turkish. So the Turkish flag and the English flag is cut into her board on the top. So she's standing on both.
1 foot on each.
Yeah. So no, I might get a Turkish person gets the ump, but
I could never do that because I can't stand on a skateboard.
Well, that was
No, I couldn't. I never got on with it. I did try it in the 70s when the first skateboards first come out.
Yeah.
70s.
You had all the money back then, didn't you?
No. I had the sort of wheels that the tiniest, smallest stone, they would stop dead and shoot you fast forward. They're like an emergency stop.
we used to have the little red roller skates. What we had, the little ones that were strapped on over your shoes. Like
they're really
roller skates. That's when the skateboards come out. Is to take those off and put a bit of board on them to try and make your own skateboard.
We are the three of us. We are only born 15 years after World War II.
20.
Not
the end of the war. 45. I was born in 65.
Yeah, 20. Oh, sorry, my maths went up in the air then. Sorry, forgive me.
How old do you want us to be?
No. Well, my dad was born 45, so he was born in the year the war ended. Anybody there? And my mum the same. But going back to the poppy idea, we're all very close to that. And all our childhood was war movies. Yeah. And so we were very
the streets were full of bomb sites.
Well, yeah, true. We played in all of them. Yeah.
All the prefabs are still there everywhere.
Still there, prefabs. And the kids today won't know what a prefab is. Is there still any left? Because there used to be a couple. There was a spot.
They're listed. I think some are listed.
Right.
Yeah, I think some are listed.
And they're not asbestos.
Well, I was going to say, use asbestos in a lot of those.
Asbestos is one of those things, if you don't touch it, it doesn't hurt it, doesn't it?
If you don't smoke it, it don't hurt.
No, it's only when you break it and things like that, and you get that's where the particles
I don't know. Yeah. My dad's got the...
you look in any gardens anywhere, and you'll see garages that have got asbestos.
On the roof, still got
the corrugated. Yeah, it's everywhere.
Just don't touch it.
Just don't. Yeah, and if you do get someone in there, they bag it up and wear the right gear, and don't they?
They don't. I was going to go onto the right gear. My dad, back in the 80s, even 70s, one of his jobs was to go in a basement, him and his mates, with the pickaxes and the shovels and everything else, and clear out all the walls. They'd been paid to clear out the asbestos because whoever it was had cottoned on that it needs to be cleared because it's no good. But prior to the fact that they'd all made the clarification that it ain't very good for you.
No, asbestosis, wasn't it? It killed lots of people. Yeah.
He got it right up. My dad, years later, he lived in fear all his life, and now he's still alive. He's the oldest of his family.
He's 105.
Yeah. He's not as old as your old man.
He was 91 yesterday.
91. Wow. Congratulations. Happy birthday to the granddad.
He's still going strong. My brother reckons we need a silver bullet if we ever get
So we tangent there, Mick.
It went off slightly on a tangent.
Not as more than slightly. What is coming next, Mick?
What's coming next is, I think, some advertising for some charity work that I've been doing. I've been working for the local hospice that looked after Barbara when she went, and they are taking some children to Winter Wonderland. These are children with life-limiting diseases and life-limiting conditions. So we're running those off to the Winter Wonderland. And whilst I was there talking to them, they just chatting in general, and I said, well, you guys actually looked after my wife when she was passed away. And then they paid more of an interest. They didn't know about Unify. I was just a taxi driver. and I was showing them pictures of my wife, and then I told them what I'd done with Unify. They went on the website and didn't realise that the first advertising charity is the Eleanor Centre, which actually looked after my wife.
Yeah.
So and gave us the care. But I said to them, you didn't really do a great deal for her. You were there. You were more supportive of me, of the families of the people that were dying with cancer. So when I needed help, when I needed equipment or medical equipment or assistance, you guys were there for me.
Yeah.
And it got to the stage that she was fortunate enough at the end that she never had to go into the hospice because she passed quickly when the end came. But everything we needed was provided for by them. And they were surprised at what I'd done. They didn't know anything about the app. They didn't know that they were one of the main recipients of the funding when it comes. And of course, they've then got on board with that. And they, of course, I didn't realise it, but I'd sparked another load of flame. So then they've got people that work in the TV that are actually not sponsors. I can't remember what they're called now. They've got TV presenters, but they're associated with the trust, with the Eleanor Trust. They've probably had family members themselves that have gone through there, so they've picked up on it again. So now I've got BBC interviews Monday. ITV want to film me. Kent TV want to come and do some cab work, but they're looking for something fun to do before Christmas. I don't quite know how I can turn that into fun. Maybe not with the children, but with some of the activity they would get. I'll probably be dressed as Father Christmas. God help us. And there's a lot going on. I got an award from the Prime Minister. Now, that was an amazing thing. That was actually blew my mind, that one. I had no idea that they even gave out awards.
True, but Prime Ministers change so quickly. Which Prime Minister's giving you the award?
It actually comes from the Office of the Prime Minister. Yeah. It's a cross-party board that sit down and they look at people that are making a difference in our community and trying to actually push forward and make positive changes for all. And I didn't know it existed.
Yeah,
rung me. I was blown away. Really, I really was. But what was I looking around? What's that for? What have I done? And I didn't realise that what I was doing had that much of an effect.
Yeah.
Of course it does. Now you actually look at it. Of course it would. But
it's keeping you busy. Is obviously you're here today.
Yes.
Which we are proud to have you on our little show.
It's
but
lovely. I always like coming here.
Well, we always check the fees beforehand.
Dave's entertaining.
Yes, and you asked for Pellegrino today, didn't you? Like proper prima donna.
That's it.
So we've got you here. It is really, we really liked it last time, didn't we?
I'd say it's one of my favourites.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't really say that, really.
Pet project.
Because it was. And, it was. It was such... I know, yeah. That's the only one that has. Thankfully. But no, it was so, it's such a genuine, isn't it? A generous gesture. And a thing to do.
Well, I've had the idea of the word unify, I didn't realise it's already having such a unifying effect. I mean, I've got Steve McNamara at the LTDA. He runs stories in there for me. I've got Grant Davis, who just gives me whole pages of advertising. And I think they've got a piece coming in the next issue, in the Christmas issue. He's got a whole page on an update and a whole page of advertising as well, just encouraging drivers to join. We're still pushing for drivers. But as I said, if it's going out on the BBC, it's going out on ITV. Channel 4 have contacted me. They're making a documentary about taxis, and they want to actually come and see me as well.
Yes, I think I've been involved in that. I've been contacted on that.
You've been contacted as well?
Yes, yeah.
And so I think the scope for it, and because this business as such, it is a business, it doesn't need to make money. Because it doesn't need to make money, I haven't got any shareholders to pay out. I haven't got any loans or anything like that.
This is the beauty.
It's all me.
Yeah,
it's all me, and that's how I feel. It's like me.
Yeah.
And but when we bring all of that together, so as long as I keep funding it and keep paying for the developers to actually keep running it and keep the services going, and it just ticks over gently and slowly grows. Yeah. And it does slow. I know we get a few big jobs coming in and we get a sudden influx of drivers, and it doesn't need to make a profit yet, but it will do as it slowly grows.
Yeah.
And that's what it needs. It needs that slow growth. I think so. I can just keep going.
Yeah.
I can just keep going. Yeah. It's not something we've got to get to the end of the year. Oh, he's not made any money. He's going to go skint. I know it's cost me £60,000 to run it for a year. I know that, and it's going to cost me another £60,000 to run it next year. But I don't care, because it's me earning my money every month. I've got
what else are you going to do, Mick? This is a challenge in life, isn't it?
I don't drink or smoke. So,
well, neither do we at the minute. But that's another story.
I've got water.
Yeah, we've all got water at the minute. Dean's got us all. We're all running dry here. I think he thinks we're a Premiership football team or something.
Well, I don't know.
alcohol. But
I was going to tell you, I've been feeling great.
I feel great, but I'm going to crack.
I'm
starting to crack around. It's only been 2-3 weeks or something.
No, I'm 6 months not drinking. Dave's on to 2 weeks not drinking.
Oh wow!
And
I normally go 2 weeks, to be honest with you. I don't normally. I'll often go 2 or 3 weeks.
Wow,
often, all the time.
Paycheck.
Yeah.
When he gets paid.
It depends on what I'm doing and work and things like that. If I've got things to do and work and I don't do it, as soon as I get a day or two off, and it depends then. Yeah, I'll pop around and have a couple of pints or something. But yeah, what I can't stand there and I can't get over is any kind of party or wedding or oh man,
it's hard if you're doing it. If you're stopping drinking, if you go to a wedding and someone says, right, and you've got a glass of prosecco and you've got
I wouldn't drink
the bride. I know, but you understand what I mean. But that's once you get the taste of it, you're back in and you're back on day one again the next day, aren't you?
I went to a wedding in the summer. And it's the best wedding I've ever been to with my nieces, and the reason was I didn't drink. I was a designated driver.
Yeah,
and I remembered everything of it and had a great time. It was the best wedding I'd ever been to, and it simply was that. The alcohol, taking the alcohol out
take
of
that
it.
alcohol away.
Yeah,
it takes a while to get it out of your system.
Yeah,
no, but I do fancy a pint though.
Oh
yeah, always doesn't go away. I mean, but we're surviving, Dave. We're surviving.
I stopped drinking like you guys did 20 odd years ago.
Oh, well done.
Right? And I mean, I'm not going to say I was glugging it down before, but I was there. And even now, occasionally you think, oh, I fancy a beer.
Yeah,
not one. You don't drink at all.
I do if it's on a social occasion. Like, for example, as a wedding or but I won't have a skinful. I usually drink one, and I'll have I'll have half and half lager shandy, and then I'll go on to Pepsi's or Coca-Cola.
That's worse.
Yeah, okay, that's ruining your kidneys.
Yeah, that's worse.
But if you do that, because then people still think you're drinking and they're not trying to fly you full of drinks. Because it's not so much yourself. Have a drink. I'll get you a short. You'll be all right. I'll have another beer. And before you know where you are, you've got 5 or 6 racked up in front of you. You don't want any of them.
Nice.
Well, I did a bit of trick than that. I went to the pub beforehand and said, look, when we come in here, the friends are going to order me a gin and tonic. Don't charge them for a gin and tonic, and don't tell them you haven't done a gin and tonic. Just do a tonic water with lime and make it look like a gin and tonic and just charge them for that. And when I come up to the bar, I'm even going to order 2 pints of lager and a gin and tonic, but don't do the gin and tonic, do the thingy. So I had it all planned, so no one knew that I wasn't even drinking.
That's clever. I mean, I've seen people do it, bully each other when they go into a restaurant and they go to the waiter and everything like that. Said, don't give him any alcohol. He's a recovering alcoholic, and they come and remove the glasses off the table, and then he can't get a drink. No matter what he does, don't serve him, and he can't get a drink. He's sitting there screaming because they're
well, if I'm going to drive though, I mean, I don't touch a drop.
No, you
shouldn't touch it.
Well, you're the most legal driver I know.
Oh, yeah, am I?
You are literally the most legal driver that I know.
How's that?
Well, you won't do 21 in a 20.
Well, I would. I'd push the 21. I let my hair down occasionally and go, I don't know. I'm often one of the I'm driving mistakes here. I don't see the point.
To be honest.
I don't see the point. What's the point? If it says 20, just do 20.
Can't on a limiter on it.
Yeah, don't mind about it. Just do it. And then you're going to make a mistake. You're going to get caught for certain times.
It's when they change them.
Yeah.
You know, so you got 20 minutes, then it's 40.
Yeah.
Or at the moment, they've got these. They got dual speed cameras out now. This is going to catch loads of people out. This is.
Yeah, what's this one?
They did it in Italy first, but now what they do now is they got a camera. So when you come up to it, you've got your hash marks on the road.
Yeah.
And so when you go over those, you're safe, so you speed again.
Yeah.
So what they've got cameras now that actually face both ways. So when you come up to the cameras over the hash marks, you're safe, and you think you're going to speed off, but the camera's got you from the back, and it actually monitors.
Is it still got the marks on the road?
I'm not
because
sure.
I always thought they had to have that.
That's
two pieces of evidence.
Yeah, yes. That will measure the speed.
The camera and the two pictures it takes. I mean, I could be wrong on that, but that's what I always thought. It's
the legislation, isn't it? If they allow that evidence that the camera's done it, if they allow the electronic evidence to be presented as evidence, they've then got you by that as well.
Yeah, double evidence. But I imagine now they wouldn't even need it with technology. That might be old technology, the lines measuring the speed and making.
I don't know. You'd have to guarantee that technology was 100% correct 100% of the time, because otherwise there would be the element of doubt, wouldn't there?
Well, to be honest with you, technology is so cheap now. Imagine that you put the speed camera in the thing and you put 3 of them, and they all take the picture. You've now got 3 separate things taking exactly the same picture. That wouldn't be expensive. You'd have to say that all 3 of them were inaccurate. I mean, there would be
and they'd bring up a technical guy and they'd say, is that possible? And he'd say, yeah. But then they'd say, well, how about the measurements if we did it manually on the road? They go, well, no, right. The probability, isn't it? It's got to be the probability, isn't it, or what?
Yeah, but then again, the camera itself wouldn't need the markings anymore. The markings are probably so you could say that the speed that we passed each marking, we can calculate what it is. The camera could say, well, here's my first photo, here's my second photo, they were travelling at this speed, so you probably wouldn't even need the markings on the road to say.
Well, I don't know if you've seen the new speed guns with the policemen out at the moment and little tripods. And
I've seen them. Yeah,
and they like to hide behind one of the exchange boxes on
Vauxhall Bridge Road. Yeah, that guy waved at me and told me to speed up.
Get out of the way. We ain't got no tickets as you'll come along.
I don't like it when you park in front of them for some reason.
No. Pop the bonnet open and all that.
Yeah, like get out, I had a cramp. It made me move. But the one that really bugs me is the one that's at Bishop's Bridge Road, right by Paddington Station, because you come off the slip road at 30 mile an hour. When you're on as if you're going to go the overpass, all the signs 30, 30. You come off and there's no gateway change. Normally when you change from 30 to 20, there's no gateway marking. So you're coming off the slip road at 30 mile an hour. By the time you get to a 20 mile an hour sign, it's too late. You're already done. Bang, 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 bang. So, but I don't know anybody that's been issued a ticket from one of these tripods yet. Well, whether they're still sampling it, but I don't know anyone that's been issued a ticket off of one.
Well, we're into the realms of tickets now, because I was just discussing the thing about the double white lines again today. Because it's getting... So there's tickets been issued for the Aldwych crossing the double white lines. But there's no other example in London where that's happening. And the crossing the double white lines has an exemption in the highway code that you can cross them to enter adjacent buildings. You can cross them to turn right. You can cross them to overtake slow-moving vehicles. So it's not an absolute crime to cross double white lines. There are aspects where you can't do it. So I'm completely unclear to what they're getting the tickets for exactly, but apparently they've given one for a U-turn from the Indian High Commission, one for a U-turn coming across from the Strand into the Aldwych and then doing a U-turn to go over Waterloo Bridge, and one for a U-turn leaving the Waldorf. So that would mean just literally they're getting tickets for crossing the double white lines, which I am absolutely sure before. We even had a meeting in the TfL years ago that clarified Victoria Embankment. We can leave any point on the right on Victoria Embankment on the solid white lines because you can cross them to go the other direction. That was kind of the idea. So I'm completely unsure now. We're going through it now at the LTDA, and Trevor, UCG, we've been on with him this morning. And Tom Hartley's got a few bits and bobs on about it, and the debate's quite up in the air. But when we first aired it, didn't we? We got the guys coming telling me, Dean, stick to the knowledge. You don't know the highway code. I do know the highway code.
Well, if they don't want you to do a U-turn, they just put no U-turn signs.
No U-turn signs. I always thought...
You go down to Harrods, it's full of no U-turn signs, where everyone does.
And just round the corner on the Kingsway, going up towards Southampton, that's all no U-turn.
Yes.
And Great Queen Street, Remnant Street, and up that bit. If you U-turn there, you'll get a ticket.
It's not hard to put a U-turn, a no U-turn sign up.
That would.
They don't want you to do it.
My interpretation of the highway code always was that it mustn't be ambiguous. So you cannot put signage that kind of says, "Oh, I'm not sure what I need to do." It's got to be clear about what you do. And solid white lines, yes, it's clear what they are. We can't overtake vehicles, and you can't straddle them. But then it goes on to say, actually, you can overtake vehicles. You can do this if it's this case. So.
It's there to highlight that it's a dangerous road,
yes,
and that you shouldn't cross those lines unless you really have to. And if you do so, you should do so safely and carefully. And you said like actually says overtaking slow-moving bicycles that are travelling less than 10 miles an hour.
Yes,
I think it actually says
horse and carts. Well, now you can't overtake because we have speed limits 10 mile an hour.
But you're not allowed to overtake bicycles anyway. They take you out and shoot you for that now.
Well, yeah, I was speaking to someone this morning. I was speaking to Tom Hartley this morning. He said he had the threat of the points on the licence. A cyclist had put in a complaint that he was too close.
And when he went past him.
When he went past him. So they're putting in that. 5
feet now, isn't it?
A metre and a half?
4.5, is it?
That's okay, but the cycle lane's only 3 foot wide. So if there's a cycle in it, you can...
If there's a cycle lane in it, I don't know whether they would class you that. I think it's when you're in a lane that you share. Say, for instance, a bus lane.
Yeah.
Then you need to be that distance or any other distance. They shouldn't be close to the curb anyway. Because close to the curb's no good. You've got drains and everything else. If you're close to parked cars, someone opens the door, it would knock them over into the traffic. That's why they say they should be out, isn't it? And then we should be wide in case they come off. So you really, like HGVs we was always taught defensive driving and drive for other people.
Yeah, yeah.
Drive as if everybody else is a fool or an idiot. And it's a bit like that for a cyclist. You've got to drive as if every cyclist is a fool or an idiot or about to meet an accident or a door knocking them out.
A lot of cyclists don't have licences.
I don't know about
Well, you don't need a licence.
No, they should have something.
Somebody out there with no driving licence, no understanding the road network, but they're out driving on it. So you've got to kind of give them a little bit of leeway.
Do they legally have to abide by the highway code?
See, they don't have a speed limit, do they? And that's the reason we've gone from 30 to 20. It's to make us the same speed as cyclists.
The road speed limit is for any vehicle. Doesn't matter whether it's powered or motorised or not. You can't break the speed limit. So if it says 20 mile an hour, you're doing 30 mile an hour on a push bike, you can be arrested for breaking the speed limit.
I think that comes under reckless. That's a reckless something or other. It's like it says something like reckless endangerment cycling or something. I don't think they can be done for doing 30 and a 20.
I actually think cycling should be banned.
Banned.
Period. I mean, here we go, controversy now. I mean, I asked a cyclist, "Are you allowed to cycle on the motorway?" He said, "No, of course not." I said, "Why not?" He said, "Because you'll be killed." I said, "We killed 70 people in London cycling on the road. Get off the road.
Yeah.
You want to cycle? Go around one of them little oval tracks.
That's it.
It's a sport." And he said, "Oh yeah, but we're allowed to cycle on the road. That's a sport. Road cycling is a sport." I said, "Yes." And does the Tour de France go through the traffic, or do they stop the traffic and marshal the roads? They stop the road, they stop the traffic, and make it. Well, it should be the same for cycling.
Oh, here we go, Mick. You're on the conspiracy. We've got Aaron coming in later, the ginger cabbie, and he's going to be on the conspiracy. Now we've got that cycling banned.
Banned. It should be banned.
Banned. I'm a fat. Well, I went to see you the other day. I went to meet you at Canary Wharf, and I told you as I'm coming here, I got run over. Completely run over by a cyclist. Good. I'm crossing the road, looking left in a... Low Street is down to one lane as roadworks. It's a one-way street anyway, but it's down to one lane, and the roadworks is coming from my left. So I'm looking left, watching these cars go by me, and then I see the gap, so I cross, and then I get spanked from a cyclist, and he says to me, "You should have looked." I said, "I was looking the right way. I wasn't expecting a bike to come up."
Yeah, but he's supposed to stop. He's supposed to give way to you.
Well, he must. If I was on that bicycle as well, I would actually have the astuteness to think that person's going to step out. They're looking there across the road.
A bit like
he took no notice of it.
A bit like drivers do. You're watching someone on the pavement. You're watching their body language to see if they're going for that crossing. And everyone's watching to see where they're going to go. And cyclists have got to do the same. They've got to watch where pedestrians are going to go.
Again, I think a pedestrianised vehicle should be used to pedestrianised area. And give way to pedestrians.
Be careful what you wish for. They'll make the whole place a pedestrianised area.
Well, fair enough. They have already, haven't they? To stop all the traffic. We're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
No, if you've got a push bike and it's pedestrian powered, or get on the pavement.
Yeah.
And give way to pedestrians. No, they won't like that.
Well, that's illegal already, isn't it? That's already a crime.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
And as for scooters, well, let's not go there, eh?
Yeah.
Should they be made to have stabilisers on the back?
On the scooters?
Oh, no, on any push bike, any cycle.
No, because straight away they'd turn them into chariots, wouldn't they? They'd be doing
more
damage, wouldn't they? You know?
True.
Wouldn't you love to see them in on the Lycra with the stabilisers on the back going to work?
I think some of the cab drivers would look nice in Lycra.
Well, some of them wear Lycra.
Well, I do. On
Lycra,
Sundays I do.
Yeah, Lycra and flip-flops looks good.
This is turning into the Chaz and Dave show, I think.
It's my fault. I do apologise.
No, it's okay, Mick. The future is looking bright. You are now on the biggest channel, the Whizzan YouTube channel. So you got them smaller channels to do next week. Is it the BBC, the ITV, the Channel 4? Yeah. So you won't get as much coverage as you will from this, but we hope that it's a success on that kind of thing.
They're limiting me for 2-minute slots.
2 minutes. Well, you see, we come in with the big guns. We was willing to pay your fees for the extortionate amount of money for the 45 minutes that you gave us.
I'd like to know, where does the app go? I want to, where are we going? Where's the immediate future and the long-term future, and so many words?
Well, so many words. First word and foremost, thanks to every driver for signing up, for taking a chance and taking a punt. There's over 2,000 of you now, and we're pushing to 3,000. You just keep coming. You just keep coming and switching it on, and we will get the advertising, we will get the customers. The app, just in the sheer way that it was developed, will work anywhere. Anywhere where Google Maps works, the app works. I didn't know this. I only found this out a couple of months ago. Is that where does Google Maps work? Everywhere. So that's how the app works. So potentially it could go anywhere, as you just said. It could work. I could go out across the country and let every Hackney carriage driver in the country sign up to it, and every customer. But that's not my intention. It certainly wasn't what I set out to do. But
don't go crazy, Mick. Start off small.
Well,
with you saying it works anywhere, when I go to Mallorca on my summer holiday, can I get the hire car and bang it on?
People have actually done that, and they've switched on the app, and you could go through and you can actually track through and pick them up. Obviously, I don't think you get a taxi from there. Take me home from there. You know what I mean?
Get yourself a few euros, can you?
Yes.
Did you see Paul's podcast with Jay Nicola? He had the job and return to Holland.
Did he?
Oh,
I haven't watched everyone yet.
Watch that one, job and return to Holland. I forget now, but it went. I think he took 2,000, but it went more than 2,000. And the guy during COVID only had an hour's meeting or something like that. He got to Holland, and I forget which city it was in. But I'm going to guess it was Amsterdam. But they pulled up at the venue. He goes in, does his meeting, comes back out and then says, off we go, back home.
So that's that $2,000 spent then, wasn't it? He's got the holiday, he's got to Amsterdam, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Now you said that. Have I revealed yet the improvement on my job?
You haven't improved upon your job, David. I can't believe it. They're not going to believe you.
I did a Kent to Manchester, Greater Manchester Police Headquarters.
Yeah.
Wait and return.
From Kent. What was you doing in Kent? Was you lost?
I can't tell you any more than that.
All right.
Because it was hush. Obviously, it's only between the three of us.
It's only between the three of us.
And they end up paying me...
I'm not putting this on my show.
No, you can put it on, yeah.
Oh, okay,
but I'm
good.
not going to tell you who the name and that the person is, but they ended up giving me 2,200. And I did it in a day.
Okay, so the name of the person is relevant to the fact of the price of the job, and we mustn't say who it is because they're...
to the police and all that, yeah.
But, can we say they're famous or they're not famous? It's the criminal underworld, or is it famous?
No, it's famous. It's not criminal underworld.
Okay, famous. All right.
If it's famous, it's criminal overworld.
Yeah.
If it was criminal underworld, I wouldn't mention it because they'd pay cash.
Oh, this was on the books. That's not as good. Dave,
I will say one thing. We had one driver accepted an e-hal, electronic, just pinged out at Portsmouth. I was shot off to Portsmouth.
Yeah.
Like that, and he's going, Mickey, how do I take the money? I said, any way you bloody like. I said, if you took a job off the street and said Portsmouth, mate, would you go or would you take your money first?
Yeah, take the money anyway.
So that's on your app. That's what we should talk about. The best jobs on your app.
Well, that's it. I mean, you're getting the airport jobs pinging anyway, but the pre-booked ones, they'll do those. And it's just take the jobs that come. But even I was gobsmacked. Who actually sends out and just pinged out for an e-hal for a job to Portsmouth? She was sending her parents on a cruise, and she wanted to send someone down, so she thought she'd use this app because she liked the
fact that the charity.
She liked the whole aspect of it, so she just pinged it out. And driver got in there.
It's the best way, Mick. A bit of word of mouth, slowly,
that did generate quite a buzz, I must say. But and then he was going, how do I want it to pay? Even the developer said, why did you let him take cash? I said, because he wanted to take cash and the customer wanted to take cash. And then he just processed £2. That's it.
Well, without getting us all into trouble in some way. So on the app,
it's £370 is what the fare came out.
Yeah,
they paid him.
It's good.
And then I think he processed £1 through the app, and they then process it and close the app down.
So they don't know. They don't know what was transacted.
Who?
Anybody else?
£1.
£1 was the transaction.
So yeah. If the HMRC asked for it, he got £1.
Yeah.
What he does on his own machine or cash is entirely up to him. It's nothing to do with me.
All right,
so £1 went through and I got £2 through for the app.
So not only is there the bonus of the fact that it's a £2 drop for the Unify itself, but if we do get cash, we can take cash and we can we're using an app, getting advantage of that, but getting the old school cash in hand.
In order to shut the app down to reset it, you'd have to process and the minimum processing fee I think is £1.
Yeah.
So you process £1, you can get paid any way you like, but you will get that £1 as well.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I think the trick is don't process the £1 because it looks a bit obvious. Do a £6.60 and just say it was a little local.
Or £3. Is it £3.80 processed? The meter fee £3.80. But the thing is, with the £2 he processed, he got that £2. Yeah. I didn't get, because then it took £2 from the app as well, from the customer to pay the app. So although he processed £2, the customer was charged for £2 to him and £2 to the app. That's it.
Excellent.
I try to make it as simple as easy as possible. I'm not anti-tax man in any way, shape or form. Yeah. God bless Rishi Sunak at the moment. He's just giving me an award.
Did you bring the award with you?
No. I was to collect the award over the weekend of the 11th and 12th. I think I was going to Downing Street to do it. But they then, with all the fiasco of the Remembrance Sunday, they then put like a ring of steel in place there like that, and nobody was allowed in. So they said to me that there'll be another event in December, that I'll be invited into December. I said, I can make January if you're giving out awards in January. Yeah. On the New Year's honours list. So pushing me luck a little bit there.
Sir Michael.
Oh, don't Sir Mucky. It'd be when Lord Muck, wouldn't it? Move over, Alan. It'd be Alan Sugar and Micky Harris. You're fired.
Going to be a driver.
Oh, dear.
So in the short term, you're doing TV interviews
in the short term, I think.
And in the long term, what's your? You got any plans for the long term of it, or what you see?
Well, in actual fact, my long term is to make the short term work, and that makes sense. I just keep going over and doing the same thing, because what I'm doing is working slowly. And it's only if you keep doing the same thing over and over again and it's not working, yet you keep doing it. That's madness, isn't it? But because what I'm doing is slowly working, the driver base is building up, the customer base is slowly building up. Just keep going, just keep doing it. if it goes whoosh, I'd have to reevaluate my life in general then, whether I'd even have time to be able to run it if it goes massive. Let's say, for example, I end up with, 15,000 drivers and, and 2 million customers. Would I actually have time to do anything else other than run an app? If you know what I mean.
You could get employees then.
Exactly. But that's that stage. If that comes out,
delegate.
They're happier problems to have in the future, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely.
So it's a bit hard to actually...
You'll be thinking, won't you?
That far forward.
What's it called? Die Hard. You'd be sitting on the beach earning 20%.
Well, I don't do it. It goes in the app.
Yeah. Hopefully, you get something reward out of this that gives you a bit of peace in it later.
If I think Dave asked in the last interview, do you want your money? I don't actually want my. I've enjoyed spending it. If it goes to the stage where it gets really, really like popular, or it really does start to make off, then I might just start to take the money back out of it that I've put in. But I don't need anything out of it. I don't need it. It's being done solely and purely to give people as much help as you possibly can, all in my wife's name.
Yeah.
And if that actually goes and takes off, then I don't need anything else. You could what are you going to give me? 50 quid? 500 quid? Give me 500 quid. It doesn't make a difference. The money is irrelevant in those circumstances. And therefore, I think, it does. It becomes pointless.
Yeah. Well,
I just want it to work.
It looks like it's working. I mean, we are doing our best, and I think the drivers got to do their best. It's like something like, I know Dave is like, been pumping it out there, and it was lovely to see Mary with her sticker in the window and the fact that she was doing it and she was giving it a go. She wasn't that grumpy.
No, I did say I don't mean grumpy. I said down, a little bit down,
down,
a little bit down that you're not getting the work of it.
Yeah,
I think that wasn't down in saying I'm down.
I do get those comments from drivers. Micky, there's not much work coming through.
Yeah, calm down, guys. Calm down.
Like that. I said,
it's just the time. It takes time.
Yeah, because at the moment customers don't really care where the cab comes from. So if they get one from free, now they don't care they're charging you, certain percentages or even paying the extra money on top. They don't really feel too exploited. But as we can get this out and start to push this on the charity side of it, and I think if we get the knowledge out there, people can actually get a more ethical ride and for cheaper than what they're paying, and then they might give us a go first, and that's the opportunity. I think we've got an opportunity coming, and I think it's going to come very quickly, and the app has to be ready for it, and we have to be ready for suddenly people just to start onboarding very, very quickly. And if we do it, we might actually get it. We may actually be successful, and that's what I'm really hoping for. I think short term, I think there might be answering your question that way over the next month or so, and we'll know. I think come April, when it's been running for a year, I can then look back and say, right, how far have I come? How many drivers have I got? How much does it cost? I can really do a full evaluation. Is it worth continuing for another year? Is it still growing? Are we still going? And then give it another year's worth of effort. Because I couldn't put this to bed thinking that if I just did this, it would work, or if I just did that. I'd have to make sure that I run every avenue first. And I don't think I'm going to get any more publicity than the BBC chucking it out there, not without me having to pump millions into it, and I can't afford that sort of
the thing is, Mick, it's also because we did this interview last time, you can do a lot of PR in a very short period of time, but then it's done. So it's about the continuous drip feeding of the PR, which is what we're doing here.
I think if I pull that up, that's where these come into it as well, because who are we really pitching at? And that's the customers in taxis. So we need to get
and you're working on that now to
that's
improve.
Being changed. That's actually being changed to actually include a lot of the charities that are on there, because the Royal British Legion have actually given me formal permission to use their logos in my advertising as well, which I was quite impressed with. I think there's the Right Honourable John Mercer MP, who's in charge of Veterans Affairs. He was actually impressed with what I've done. I've never met the man, but he's very impressed with what I've done and what I've set up. And again, when Royal British Legion came on and said that I could use their logo, I was impressed with that. Cancer research. I mean, we're trying to touch on things that affect everybody's lives. Okay, I know there's the Eleanor Trust is personal to me, and they deal with the whole of the southeast and Kent area and helping people that are passing on. And so that affects a lot of people. That's not a national one, though, is it? But there are other hospices up and down the country. Yeah, well,
me and Dave wish you the absolute most success. It's excellent to have you back. We're seeing progress. We're going to carry on, and we're going to hopefully have you back in April. You can tell us about the progress. So this is Micky Harris, and if you haven't signed on for Unify, it helps if you just sign on as a driver and let the thing grow, because really I can foresee that there comes a magic moment where it breaks through, and then if all drivers are on it, all passengers will be on it.
Yes, the passengers go where the drivers are. And for the driver, it doesn't cost you any money at all. It costs you nothing. In fact, if you want the app to give you money, you need to be on it.
Yeah.
If you want to earn money, just sign up. It doesn't cost you anything. Just sign up, register, get yourself verified, and that's it. If you've done that, leave the app on.
Yeah.
Every time you're in the cab, and that will just increase our coverage. And as soon as a customer goes, and hits the button, and it instantly get a cab, they'll come back, and they'll keep coming back, and they'll keep coming back, and they're not being ripped off.
Yeah.
And you're getting all the money. I mean, it's
next time, hopefully, Dave's done a fair on it by then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I don't leave it on while I'm in bed because I keep getting hits while I'm in bed.
Pings at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Shall we?